Hello, I'm Jenny. It's a bit sad to say this thing, but my dad is an alcoholic. But don't think that I'm going to speak about domestic violence. I adore my dad. He is maybe the sweetest personality I've ever seen. And maybe this is the main reason why he drinks. Let me tell you my experience. My life was absolutely normal until I was 12 years old. I had very loving parents. My mom was a very energetic woman, and my dad was a nice, calm man. I take more after my mom, and I was growing up active and optimistic. One day, everything changed. My mom once announced that she had found another man, and she was moving to another city with him. And even better, Jenny, she said, I have no ambition to start a court process to make you live with me. I think you'd better stay with your dad. You have all your life here, and it would be better for everyone. Nice to get it from your mother, right? If you think this is my horrible problem, I have more to tell you. I was betrayed by my mother and was so indignant. Really, is this the way to treat your child? And why would she decide what is better for me? However, if my mother doesn't want me, I need to adapt. This is why I stayed with my dad. He was so sad. Poor dad. Guess it's not pleasant when a woman you love decides that she doesn't need you anymore. And he started relaxing with a drink or two in the evening. Sorry, Jenny, he said. It just makes me feel better. Do you mind? Who was I to prohibit a grown man a small drink every other evening? And that was my mistake. One of the rare defects of my dad is lack of strong will. I was still very small at the time and didn't realize it quickly enough. When I was aware that it had become a problem, it was too late. 2 drinks became 4, 4 became 8. Then he fell asleep in the armchair and I had to help him towards the bedroom. Then he fell asleep on the floor, and then he started missing his work. He said he felt better. He didn't feel so useless and lonely. I think at the time he was one step away from depression, but I honestly prefer if he had taken some pills rather than drinking himself unconscious. But I thought that it would be okay as soon as he felt better. The real tragedy started when he decided he was done scaring me at home, and he had better go out for a drink. Believe me, social alcoholism is the worst. He found some small, filthy bars, disgusting pubs, horrible dens, where he was drinking with other alcoholics and talking to them about his miserable life. Don't think he got violent or anything. He was the same kind and caring old dad. He was crying and asking for apologies and promising he would give it up, but he just couldn't. The problem was that he was now there every evening and crawled home rather than walking. Sometimes he came in bruises. Sometimes he forgot to come home. In these cases, I just took a taxi and made a pub crawl of my own, looking for him. Not a nice environment for a teenage girl. I had to convince his buddies to let him go, and sometimes even had to bring a baseball bat with me to make myself clear. Everyone knew that Jenny is not a chick to mess with. Of course, I tried to maintain my spirits, but it was so hard even for a tough girl like me. I was so sad and lonely, and every day that feeling grew. One day I came to one bar to fetch my dad, and there was an enormous guy who claimed that Dad hadn't paid. Dad was nearly senseless. I had no money, so I said that Dad would just have to pay another day, but I didn't convince him. I don't remember exactly how I managed to get him out of there, but I brought my dad home absolutely desperate. I didn't see any hope, and thought that I would pass the next years searching for my drunk dad. It was a dead end. The next day, I wanted to tell my dad I had to leave him and go to my mom or elsewhere. I couldn't take it anymore. I was crying, and my dad was looking at me horrified. I'm not sure he had ever seen me cry. This was the turning point, when he realized that he couldn't do it anymore. To himself, but most of all to me. It was the first time I saw that my dad had will after all. The very same day he went to AA. Next day, I had my 15th birthday, and I decided to stay with my dad for some more time and see if he could remain sober. It turns out that life is beautiful without drinking. He repeats it every day, constantly apologizing for those hellish 3 years. But I'm not offended. I managed to get something useful even from that horror. I'm a wrestler now, and quite a talented one. They say that I've got the character of a warrior. I know exactly which bars I got it from. My dad comes to support me at all my competitions, straight from AA meetings, absolutely clean. And I know that even if the situation is worse than you could ever imagine, there's always hope.